Hello, hello, hello. Hey, everybody. My name is Christian Favis, and this will be my XFLR5 project. Um, let's see here. We will be doing part B. I'll show you a wing, um, with aspect ratio 10, taper ratio 0.6, record length is 1, and I'll show you all that stuff. And we will be doing with a NACA 2415 airfoil, free stream velocity of 50 meters per second with lifting line theory. And we will be doing a we'll be changing angles of attack from -15 or -5 to -5 to +15. So here we are. We are going to start new project. We are going to go to module. Open up XFLR5. Go to module. We're going to do direct foil design. We are going to create a new foil. Go to NACA foils. I already have it right here, but remember, we are just typing in the type of foil we're using. We're going to be using a 2415 foil. And the panels, up to you. It typically is usually 100, but I'm going to be setting it to 300. Just increases the amount of points you have, so I feel like it might be better for analysis. So click that. Just click OK for your NACA 2415. Should show you it. Shows you what it looks like. Nice and good. Next, we're going to analyze it. So we're going to Xfoil Direct Analysis. Click on Analysis. We are going to do a batch analysis. NACA 2415. Here we are. We want a prototype T1. Leave all of that. Make sure you uncheck from 0. And we are going from -5 to 15 degrees with an increment of 1. Now here, we want to put in our Reynolds number that we are going to get at our minimum and maximum Reynolds number. Make sure it's captured by this batch analysis so that when we make it into a wing, our analysis will be correct. And if you do the math with the 50 meters per second free stream velocity, I believe you should get around 2 million Reynolds number for at the wingtips because it will be a 0.6 taper ratio with a 1 meter um root chord length. So we have here around 1 million to 3 million. So 2 million is captured in between it. But also, I believe it stops at the 3 million mark. So we had to make another um analysis, 3.333 million, because that will be the Reynolds number at the chord length, and that'll be our max Reynolds number. And I like to just put in more at the end after. I like to you can just do it like insert after, and then you could just change the number however you want, feel like it. So yeah. After all that, so there's 3.33. Let me just show you. Delete, delete, delete. And then we could just insert after. Make sure we get 3 point or 3.333.333. Click enter. Yep. And then we can insert after a couple. Yeah. And then that should be good. All right. So then we click analyze. And it takes a moment for it to analyze. So we'll be back when it's done. All right. So now our analysis is completed. Click close. Should get all these kinds of crazy graphs. They're just showing you the different analysis that we have done. Next we want to go to our wing and plane design. Um, okay, here we are in our plane design. Excuse me. We are going to want to define a new plane first of all. You can change your plane name to whatever, but this will be our aspect ratio of 10 with our taper ratio of 0.6. We are not going to be analyzing the fin or the elevator. Make sure so now we got to make our actual wing. So go to define this is what we start off with. Um, Make sure your first things first, make sure your foil is actually the NACA 2415 foil. And we remember that the root chord length, so y equals 0, which is our middle line right here, we want that to be 1 meter long. So you kind of get like a crazy triangle looking thing. But remember that we want a taper ratio of 0.6. So that means the wingtips are going to have to be a 0.6 meters. Um, Excuse my dog if you can hear it in the background. As you can see here, here's our taper ratio, 0.6 on the side, but we still need to fix one more thing. The aspect ratio has to be 10. So go to your M, and I believe for an aspect ratio of 10, you just set it to 4 meters long. That'll be 4 meters on each side. So that's good here. Yep, now our aspect ratio is 10. Let me just double check. Aspect ratio 10, taper ratio 0.6. The aspect ratio 10, taper ratio 0.6, root chord length is 1. Yes, yes, yes. Geometry, plot CL. Okay, okay. So we got tip aspect ratio 10, taper ratio 0.6. One more thing. We want to make it this offset from the front 0.2 to make it symmetrically swept. So it's 0.2 in the front, 0.2 in the back, so it's 0.6 in the middle. Makes sense. 0.6 plus 0.4 equals 1 meter for the chord length. Um, and yeah, that should be good. Let me just double check. Aspect ratio 10, taper ratio 0.6. Yep. All right, save. You should have your wing, or NACA 2415 wing. Just click save again. Then we want to do an analysis, define analysis. We're going to do a type 1. Typically, it shows you 10 right here, but we want to do a 50 meters per second. Go to analysis, lifting line theory. Let's click save. One more thing, -5 to 15 degrees angle of attack with an increment of 1. Click analyze, and you should start getting all your values. You can see here, here's your wing. You can see at different angles of attack, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go looking at 5, you can see your lift. That's your lift. You want your induced drag, that's your induced drag. Viscous drag, that's your viscous drag. Downwash, see it right there. You can also change the angle and whatever you're looking at, but we are here to find the graphs. And here are the graphs. I already have them all loaded up, but in case you don't have them all loaded up, you can click on one, like literally press number 1 on your keyboard. Goes to the first one, 2 goes to the second one, 3, so on, so forth. You could click A, the letter A to go back, but go to 1. Um, and you could just right click current graph, and then you can just click define graph settings. And you can see here, you can change what you want on the axis. So we want a coefficient of lift against the angles of attack. Click that. And here you are. Here's your coefficient of lift against angle of attack. We want also CLCD, CD versus angle of attack. So going back, current graph, define graph settings, CD versus angle of attack. Here you are. You get a nice slope. And then here's your current graph for CLCD right here, angle of attack. It goes up and then down. So that's your CLCD versus angle of attack. If you need the graphs, the data, just click export graph, put that into Excel, and you already know how to do all that. You can overlay multiple data on the same graph for a comparison. That's pretty good. But yeah, in case it doesn't ever look correct, you can click reset graph scale, but like just in case you zoom out, current graph, reset graph scale, or you can just click R, same thing. Yep. Um, so that's that. That was CLCD versus angle of attack. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I showed you CD versus angle of attack, I believe. Oops. Yeah, I did. Okay. Um, then at 5 degrees angle of attack, variation of local lift, induced angle, and induced drag. All right, so next we want to look at across the span. Go to this panel right here. and you'll see that this is actually along your panel or excuse me, your wingspan. So click out of everything. And then you want to click the 5 degrees one and only show 5 degrees. First things first, same thing as what we did before. Just go to the graph settings. We want our local lift coefficient along our span. So just click that, show, and then boom, there it is. Make sure 5 degrees is checked, and you'll see our coefficient of lift, our local coefficient of lift across the wingspan of our tapered wing. So you get something like this. Nice. Same thing. You want to find the induced angle of attack. Boom, here it is. Remember, our wingspan's at the root, it's at 0. It even shows you down here how it is from a top side view. And it goes 2 meters out, 4 meters out. Get something like that. And finally, last but not least, we wanted our induced drag coefficient, I believe. Induced angle of attack, induced drag coefficient along the wingspan. Yes. So here's our induced drag. You get something like that. That's all nice and dandy. And again, you can just right click current graph, then go to export graph if you need it, all the data and to for comparison purposes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Aspect ratio 10, taper ratio 0.6. I showed you all of that. And we did it at 15 meters per second, -5 to 15 degrees with a NACA 2415 airfoil. So that's pretty much it for the whole project, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Thank you.